Have you ever met a genius? A person who has outstanding abilities in their field? The surgeon who saves lives, the groundbreaking quantum scientist, or the brilliant legal scholar. And yet, that person believes in something completely irrational, something that makes you question everything you know about the rational capacity of humans. It is a profound, unsettling paradox. How can a person with extraordinary intellect in their professional field hold beliefs that contradict basic evidence in their personal life? This contradiction reveals an uncomfortable truth. Intelligence is not a shield against irrationality. The cognitive apparatus that we trust to navigate reality frequently distorts our perception of the world in a systematic way. And the most worrying thing is, this is not a bug, but is a feature of the human mind. The core of the problem lies in Leon Festinger's theory of cognitive dissonance. When we simultaneously hold two conflicting beliefs, or when our actions go against our core beliefs, our mind falls into a state of discomfort called dissonance. This discomfort is so unpleasant that we instinctively seek to reduce it. Ironically, the easiest way is not to bravely change beliefs based on new evidence, but to rationalize, deny, or reinterpret reality to protect the existing worldview. In the 17th century, the French philosopher Blaise Pascal intuited this when he wrote, "The heart has its reasons, of which reason knows nothing." Modern neuroscience is confirming that. Our reasoning ability is not an objective, truth-seeking satellite, as we imagine. On the contrary, it often functions as a sophisticated PR agent that is well-equipped, deployed to protect the emotional ties and social identities to which we are attached. Take the example of a famous cardiologist. He is someone who strictly applies scientific standards in his profession. But when faced with a loved one's serious illness, he turned his back on evidence-based medicine and chose alternative, unproven treatments. This breakdown exposes the profound difference between intelligence and wisdom. Intelligence is the ability to solve problems, while wisdom is the ability to recognize one's own biases, accept limitations, and apply knowledge appropriately in different contexts. That intelligent doctor became a prisoner of cognitive dissonance when the emotional barrier was too great, illustrating that even supreme intellect is not invulnerable. Looking at evolutionary psychology, we see clearly why the brain operates this way. In the ancestral environment, the primary purpose of the brain was not to discover truth, but to ensure survival and social cohesion. Being exiled from the tribe meant death. Therefore, maintaining social bonds by conforming to group beliefs was far more adaptive than pursuing objective truth at all costs. In this context, the foolish beliefs of intelligent people are often not a failure of intellect, but a triumph of social adaptation. When a belief is tied to group identity, whether political, religious, or academic, giving it up is not an intellectual exercise, but an existential threat. In fact, the more intelligent a person is, the better they are at rationalizing beliefs that serve their psychological and social needs, regardless of factual accuracy. This phenomenon is called motivated reasoning. When personal identity is threatened, we do not use our intellect to find truth, but to defend the perspective of our tribe. A famous study at Yale showed people with better mathematical abilities are more likely to distort scientific data to support their pre-existing political views. Here, intelligence does not reduce bias, but rather amplifies it. The philosopher Karl Popper emphasized that the foundation of scientific thinking is to seek to falsify one's theories, not to seek to confirm them. However, in our personal lives, we do the opposite. We are dominated by confirmation bias, the tendency to search for, interpret, and remember information in a way that confirms what we already believe. Even when having invested heavily in an idea or a relationship, admitting a mistake will create a dissonance shock that is too large, forcing us to cling to and justify for that sunk cost, or sunk cost. This is why one sees members of doomsday cults become even more fanatical after the doomsday did not happen. So how to escape from this maze? The Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." This requires the courage to prioritize truth over the ego, or ego, to value being right in the long run more than the feeling of being right immediately. We need to proactively seek out viewpoints that challenge our beliefs. Practice the steel manning, or building a steel man technique. Spend time to present the opposing argument in its strongest, fairest form possible before refuting. This is the highest form of intellectual humility, or intellectual humility. Just as Socrates taught, the only true wisdom is in knowing that one knows nothing. The most successful prophets, or super forecasters in Philip Tetlock's research, were not the most intelligent people, but those who viewed their beliefs as hypotheses to be tested, not as treasures to be protected. Cognitive dissonance is not a flaw, but an invitation. It challenges our self-image of being rational beings in complete control of our beliefs. But accepting this limitation is the first step to overcome it. The philosopher Voltaire once remarked, "Doubt is not a pleasant condition, but certainty is absurd." Therefore, I ask you, what beliefs are you holding that may be the product of cognitive dissonance, rather than rational assessment? What would happen if you allowed yourself to change your perspective on the most core beliefs? True wisdom, as Aristotle suggested, is the ability to consider an idea without accepting it. And sometimes, the ideas most worth considering are precisely the ideas that make us feel the most uncomfortable. Have enough courage to doubt your own certainty. That is the path that leads to true wisdom. If you like this video, please remember to press like and subscribe to the channel to explore deeper with us more interesting topics about psychology and philosophy in life. Your comments and personal experiences about cognitive dissonance are always welcomed in the section below. I'm really curious to know how these ideas have resonated with your own experiences and observations.